a training camp, nobody's ever done it before, to where you have to bring this energy, this type of battle mentality to a training environment. So you had to turn it on, and these guys turned it on.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Stance Elements. I'm ChazB. I am your host, and with me today, it is a pleasure to be talking to this guy right here. It's Wicket from the Renegade Rockers crew and Footwork Fanatics. It's good to see you again, brother. How we doing?
Good to see you too, man. Glad that we can make this work out with your busy schedule.
Hell yeah, man. Like, I can't remember the last time we saw each other, but I know it was a while ago.
I think I was in Poland at the Red Bull BC1 World Finals. Really quick, you were busy filming, and I just jumped on top of you while you were filming. That's how I say hello now. You know,
Yeah, you're a
just
social
make
guy.
it. Yeah, just make that a requirement, just so everybody knows. Somebody jumps on top of you while you're filming. That's me.
Yeah, man. I mean, what did you think of that whole week at the Red Bull BC1?
It was great. I mean, coming out of the pandemic, the lockdown, it was great to be in front of a live audience and to see everybody in person again. It was a great feeling and very exciting. It's the World Finals, so a lot of emotions running.
And you were there for the commentary, right? So how did that go?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. First time I've ever done anything like that. So to not be a judge was great, but then to fill the position as a reporter was just it was nerve-wracking because I've never done it before. But it was a great challenge and challenge accepted.
But see the way that you look at dancing from a commentary position as well as from a judging perspective. Are they similar at all, or are there major differences?
Major differences. As a judge, every detail is you have to pay attention to every detail. It counts. And you have to be careful of your reactions as a judge. If somebody blows it up, you can't, really react to that. It's and then as a reporter, there's details as well, but in a different sense. You have to figure out uh, who you're going to be judging when. You got to ask the right questions. It's just a lot that goes into it that really you have to be on point. You have to be, you got to have that tunnel vision. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. The flow's not going to work. I mean, it's definitely a contrast for sure. Stuff that I realized was, studying dancers' background, where they came from, how they train, what crew they're from. Things. When you're judging, you don't really have to think about that stuff. Because the host is there. They're pretty much dropping info on the mic. But as a reporter, you got to do your homework. So it's a different type of beast.
And would you say the accountability is the same? Like, after a battle, there'll be someone that wants to ask you for your feedback. I'm guessing there isn't a whole lot of that when you're on the commentary.
Yeah, no. After the commentary, because usually I had to I had to interview the person that didn't win. So first of all, you coming off stage and you didn't advance to the next round. Last thing you want to do is get interviewed. So my job was to try to find a balance of energy to make it not so awkward. To whereas if you're judging and the people that are upset coming up to you, why didn't you vote for it? They're already upset. It's already awkward. So it was a different type of communication that I had to figure out between the competitors this time as a reporter.
That makes sense. I mean, in my
Yeah,
experience, when you're talking about like people have just lost a battle and they just want to ask you what happened, bro, there's been a lot of events where the judges can't even say. They just can't
yeah,
even say what had happened. It's almost like they judge in the moment but don't have a lot of recollection of what happened. And I know that I'm not the only one that's experienced that as well. So is that a big problem to you when a judge after an event, if a breaker or just a dancer wants to ask like where they went wrong and what they can work on Do you think that's a big issue if the judge doesn't even know how to talk about it?
Yeah, it's a big issue if they don't know how to respond to that. But luckily, me, I mean, I'm I'm smothered in all of my judge notes. I take notes every battle, even if the organizer doesn't have these pads prepared for us. I bring my own, just for my sake, because I'm not gonna lie. There have been times where, in the moment, the battles they happen so fast, and the event is running low on time, and we just have to sit there and make a decision without writing anything down. And that's terrible. That's terrible for me because it happens. It happened at that event where the loser, runner up came up to me. What happened? The other guy crashed, and you guys didn't advance us, and they advanced through the prelims, and I couldn't say anything because I didn't have notes. I just said, let me sit on it and think about it. Let me watch the footage because it's not fair for me to answer that right away. I just judged over 80 crews, and you coming up to me right now is just, you're not going to get a straight answer. So, um, and that's terrible on my part as a judge because I should always be prepared, regardless if there's no sheets ready for us. I should always have this. I keep these everywhere just because, for accountability. When I come home after the event, people want to question, I still have the notes. I'll be like, well, here, this is why you crashed on the first round. Your boy was cool, but you crashed on the second round. Uh, Nice footwork. Oh, you scraped on your flip. Oh, you froze the wrong way. Oh, you kind of your execution wasn't. So as a judge, you got to be prepared no matter what. And I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm not prepared, but that's just uh it is what it is. It sucks on my part because people train every day, to win and to get that recognition, and for a judge to put a bump in their road in their journey like that is not acceptable. So we all have to do better.
And the last thing I want to ask you about that is there's often been times where, in the heat of the moment, one person wins, the other loses. And then you see the footage online and it tells you something else. And maybe the footage will make your vote maybe lean towards the other person. And then there's usually a bit of a conflict online with people in the comments saying, like, I thought this person won, so why did this other person win? So have you
Right.
ever had a moment where you're home after an event and then you recollect everything from the event and you think, actually, I voted this way when it should have been the other way?
Absolutely. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Being there live at the event, you have a front row seat. The vibe is different versus than people watching it at home. It's always going to be different. And, um, you know, it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes I come home and I see the footage and I'm like, whoa, maybe I did make a mistake, but, um, I mean, we're all human. It sucks to say that, but um, sometimes I do feel like, yeah, I made a mistake here, but there's two other judges or four other judges to make sure that the right person wins, the right crew wins. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that no, I've never felt that way before. All my decisions, no, no. I've made mistakes as a judge, and I'll own that, But like I said, that's why there's other judges there to make sure that the right people win.
That makes a whole lot of sense, man. And
Yeah,
moving on, what is exciting these days, more countries are gearing up towards the Olympics.
right,
And that means there's more camps. You're seeing more
right.
people. There's groups of people now that are getting these training camps in, getting ready for events. And I understand that there was the Breaking for Gold USA camp, which you were a part of. I think I see on your shirt that that's from
Yeah,
the camp. So, like, tell us
exactly.
about that experience and what had happened, and just some of the things that you learned from the experience too.
Well, everything happened so fast within an amount of time, and Zach and the team, Nemesis, Taekwon, Steve Graham. I mean, they made things happen in a precise manner, and to do what we did in a short amount of time, to get the athletes together, to get the location together, the gear, all of the workout equipment, the coaches. It all came together, and it was like magic, man. I mean, it was again, this was something that I've never been a part of ever in my life. I mean, being in a crew and teaching, the young generation of my crew, Renegade Rockers or Footwork Fanatics, Funky Fanatics, it's different than what the camp was like, because you had a collective of all of these. You had the elite there, right, at the camp, and I've never worked with these people before, and for them to take direction from us was it definitely was a challenge, because as coaches we had to figure out the chemistry, how the coaches were going to gel together, and how we were going to structure the whole camp. And there were a few bumps in the road, but you know, once we ironed out all the details, everything ran smooth. We ran battles. We threw them in the pool. We had all kinds of stuff going on. I mean, Steve really took care of us. The hospitality, the food was great. I mean, they cooked anything we wanted. They made sure we were healthy. They made sure that, Flo made sure that everyone was asleep on time. He's the head coach, so he was giving out all kinds of orders. And, if he told somebody to jump, they would jump higher. And the respect that these athletes had with the whole concept was amazing. Because we never worked together before, and to come together last minute like this was a very special thing. So when we see each other at events, like we were just all in Vegas last weekend for the Full Force anniversary and skills talk, and a lot of the athletes were there. And when we saw each other, it was just like a big family reunion. It's a different type of bond now. So the camp was definitely a reality check on how a team can come together last minute and make it work. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of things that people don't see behind the scenes. I mean, all the paperwork, all the flights, and oh my gosh, and all the COVID testing and making sure that everyone was safe. And it was a nightmare. But thanks to the Breaking for Go USA team, they made it happen for us.
Like, there's only one thing that I can ask you from that. Like, what was the specific purpose for the training? Because obviously you can tell a dancer just to dance 5 hours a day, and that's all of their reps. But it looked like, from all the videos that we were seeing online, that there was a specific way that everyone went about their regime. So can you just shed some
Yeah.
light on what the dancers were doing over the camp to ensure that they were ready?
Well, I'm not gonna drop all the gems, because we got to keep some of that under wraps. But Flo is a genius. He together as a unit, Flo, Bonita, and I, we put together our minds, our ideas, and Nemesis as well. He helped us structure out the schedule for all the days, and made sure that we performed to the best of our abilities, because we didn't have that much time. So one of the days we would just focus on your mental fitness, how you warm up, how you warm down. Sometimes we would talk about battle strategy. Sometimes we would work on top rock patterns or footwork patterns. I mean, it was all over the place. It's just the way that um, everything was structured was to the detail, and just making sure that everyone was on point with what we had to do today. That would determine the fact that, or that would determine how we would execute. So luckily everyone was on point. Everyone paid attention. We were focused, tunnel vision. So whatever Flo told us to do, we would do. And as coaches, as well. So if somebody was at a station where they were on a treadmill, we made sure that they were doing it correctly, and not killing themselves, but at a comfortable pace, to where you can sit there for 10 minutes and not kill yourself, because you got another station to jump onto. And after you're done with this station, you got to hit the jump rope. After that, you got to watch out for for the top rock session, you got to make sure you're on the top rock for 5 minutes. So we would switch stations on some of the days, and then my most memorable day was when uh we had the battles. I don't think anyone has seen this footage yet. We had battles, and it was intense. Jeff Rowe, Hijack, uh, I mean everyone that was there, everyone brought their A game to the table. And it was a weird vibe. Not in a sense like bad, but just because at a training camp, nobody's ever done it before, to where you have to bring this energy, this type of battle mentality to a training environment. So you had to turn it on, and these guys turned it on. So like I said, it was a very special thing. And also shout out to A Fatty for last minute hooking up the gear. Otherwise, we would have been out there naked. So
Doesn't sound
yeah, I
like a
mean, I
problem for
mean,
you, but for others it would be.
yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but now that you brought it up, nah, it wouldn't have been a problem for me.
Well, I think that's a good point to talk about something else. And the last thing that I want to ask you is
Yeah,
about your
yeah, right,
music.
right. Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to ask you about your music because it's no doubt about it, you've been on it for years. And everyone's been using your music in their reels. Your music is cropping up at events as well. Like, I've been hearing your music at events for a long, long time. So, what is it about the music side of the culture that really engages you? What is it about what you're doing right now in the music space that just gives you this energy to push it out?
Um, I mean, first of all, I before I started breaking, I was a DJ. So I already was in love with music, with mixing, with scratching. It wasn't until my friends, older brothers, found out we were messing around on their gear after school while they were at work. They hid the needles from us. So that kind of just like made me realize, oh, well, I guess I can't DJ no more. Now what we gonna do? My friend was like, let's start breakdancing. I'm like, all right. So that's how I started breaking. But long story short, I always dipped into music, always messed around making beats and stuff, but I didn't really take it serious until the scene really needed original music, for the live stream and all that stuff, right? So, um, it was a challenge, man, like anything else, just like learning new moves. Everything was, you had to work for it, to master it, to understand, what the feeling is behind the move, what the feeling is behind the concept of the beat. So my whole thing was to provide for the scene. I need to help the scene out. I'm one of the guys who can make beats. All right, I'm not that good at it, at making breaks in the beginning, right? I mean, it's tough because first of all, you can't just make a beat just because you know how to make beats and expect people to be feeling it, because the vibe has to be right. Sometimes it's too robotic. Sometimes it's too perfect. Sometimes it just sounds mechanical. And as breakers, we don't like that. We need something that feels raw, and something that feels alive, like something that a band would, produce. So my challenge was to find a balance of where, okay, let me create through samples and through MIDI, and I'll pull live stems from this person, from this site where they offer, loops and percussion or whatever. Or sometimes I would hit up friends of mine who were in bands that sometimes they would come into the studio and lay some guitar tracks down or bass, and I would just try to find these elements and put them together to where hopefully we have something. Hopefully we have a few tracks. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been times where I made beats and they were published into the world and DJs were playing them, and in my head I'm like, damn, this I'm not feeling this beat no more, like, and it's my beat, and people are dancing to it. So I'm just like, I have to make sure that I'm like, this is approved by Wick, like this is it, like, okay, I'm feeling this beat for sure. This can go. So it's like it's a constant battle, and to try to make sure that I'm making this music for the dancer, for the breaker, and helping them perform to their best when they're competing. It means more than just making a beat. Now you're providing for the culture. So um, you know, I had to do a lot of studying. I had to listen to what Lean Rock was playing. I had to listen to what Flag was playing. Legionnaire, Nobunaga. I'm like, all right, I'm around all these DJs all the time when I'm judging. So what do? When I'm not judging, I'm sitting right behind Nobunaga, right behind Flag, right behind Lean Rock, just like analyzing. All right, damn, why they play this beat? Oh, that's why. Oh, this groove is sick. Oh, damn, I didn't even think about this pattern. So I'm just trying to learn. So all of those guys are my teachers, whether they know it or not. I'm trying to emulate what they provide for the culture, but in original beats. And I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, I think now I have a good idea. I didn't start pushing music until like 2013, 2014 to the scene, but I think now, 2022, I think now I have a better understanding of what the culture needs and wants and should have because they deserve the best. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but I'm going to try to provide to the best, to my best ability to make sure that we have what we need because it has to be somebody from our culture. If it ain't, then it's gonna be a rough road. Just like commentating, where it needs to be somebody from our culture to do it. Otherwise, you have people on the live stream saying that we slide on our noggins every day.